The Las Vegas Raiders are seriously considering Ashton Gentry for the 6th overall pick in the upcoming 2025 NFL Draft. As the weeks have gone by, it's become clear that the team has genuine admiration for the Boise State running back, and the possibility of them selecting him with the 6th overall pick in the first round is becoming increasingly likely. While it might sound surprising at first, recent developments and rumors suggest that Gentry has a strong chance of landing in silver and black. In this analysis, I'll explain why the Raiders are focusing on Ashton Gentry, break down the latest updates from the past 24 hours, and dive into the reasons behind the potential pick. The first key factor that stands out is the Raiders' presence at Boise State's Pro Day. A representative from the team was there, and the reason all 32 NFL teams showed up in Boise is clear. They came to see Ashton Gentry in action. Being considered a potential Heisman candidate only adds to the intrigue surrounding his talent. The representative had the opportunity to engage in conversations with several coaches, including Boise State's head coach, which was later confirmed by a photo that documented the interaction. It's not uncommon for coaches to connect with prospects during the draft process, and those relationships can have a significant impact on decision-making. The performance at the Pro Day, coupled with these personal interactions, paints a clear picture of Gentry's standing as a potential first-round pick. Ashton Gentry's performance at the Pro Day was exceptional. While it might not be entirely surprising, considering his impressive college career, it's important to note just how well-rounded a player he is. His skills as a running back go beyond just rushing the ball. Although Boise State's offense in 2024 primarily focused on the run game, limiting his involvement in the passing game, Gentry's ability to catch passes should not be underestimated. If a team is considering a running back with the 6th pick, they need someone who possesses multiple skills. Despite not being heavily relied upon in the passing game, Gentry demonstrated solid catching abilities, showing that he's more than just a one-dimensional player. In today's NFL, versatility in the backfield is a must, and Gentry checks that box. Now, there's another reason why I believe the Raiders could be leaning towards selecting Gentry: the offensive scheme of Chip Kelly. Kelly's system has been widely known for prioritizing vertical passing plays, but his teams also place a significant emphasis on the running game. When you look at the offensive units that Kelly has led throughout his career, one thing stands out. They've consistently ranked among the best in the league in rushing attempts. In his 4 seasons as head coach, Kelly's teams were often in the top 10 for rushing attempts per game. In 2014, his team ranked 5th in the NFL with an average of 29.8 rushing attempts per game. The following year, they fell to 7th, and by 2016, they dropped to 11th. These statistics reflect how important running the ball was to Kelly's offense, a trend that continued throughout his tenure at UCLA and later at Ohio State. Kelly's impact as a head coach isn't just limited to his time at the college level. In fact, his experience in the NFL and his background at UCLA, where his teams finished among the top 40 in rushing attempts per game from 2019 to 2023, further solidifies the notion that he values running the football. This is crucial because, in order to have a successful running back in his system, a player must be able to handle the workload and thrive in a balanced offense. Kelly's teams, regardless of where he's coached, have prioritized a strong ground game, and that's a quality that could be highly appealing to the Raiders as they consider their options for the 6th pick. What's also interesting about Kelly's approach to the run game is his ability to adapt. Even when the team's passing game isn't the focal point, Kelly still finds ways to be effective in the running game. In 2024, as Ohio State's offensive coordinator, Kelly's team ranked 95th in passing attempts per game. However, this was largely due to their rapid scoring offense, which relied less on sustained passing drives and more on quick, efficient plays. The bottom line is that Kelly values a balanced offense with a strong running game. And with a versatile and capable back like Ashton Gentry, he could be the perfect fit for the Raiders' offensive system moving forward. When you look at Gentry's stats in 2024, it's clear that he wasn't required to do too much in the passing game, but his overall ability to make plays on the ground cannot be ignored. Boise State's focus on rushing the ball, with Gentry receiving 25 to 30 touches per game, shows just how integral he was to their offensive success. His ability to pound the ball between the tackles, combined with his agility and vision, makes him a dynamic threat on every play. The Raiders, who may be looking for a running back who can provide both power and finesse, could find exactly what they need in Gentry. Another significant factor to consider when discussing Gentry's potential fit with the Raiders is the team's overall strategy heading into the 2025 draft. This offseason, the Raiders have made it clear that they value relationships and connections. This has been evident in their approach to free agency and their overall draft strategy. The team has worked hard to build strong ties with certain players, and Gentry appears to be one of those players. In fact, he's the only running back who doesn't hail from Ohio State with whom the Raiders met at the Combine. This is particularly noteworthy because the Raiders have been in frequent communication with players who have connections to Chip Kelly, further reinforcing the idea that Gentry could be a target. The value of relationships within the Raiders organization goes beyond just scouting. The team's commitment to establishing connections is evident in the moves they've made during the offseason, and Gentry's ties to Kelly are something the Raiders are likely taking into account as they look ahead to the draft. Moreover, the Raiders have already made a notable addition to their roster this offseason by bringing in a player who has been coached by Chip Kelly in the past. This reinforces the notion that Kelly's influence could play a key role in the Raiders' decision-making process when it comes to selecting players in the draft. Following Gentry's pro day, there was another key development that stands out. He had dinner with the Raiders. This might seem like a small detail, but it's quite significant. After the pro day, Gentry chose to dine with the Raiders, not with any other team. This could be a strong indicator of just how serious the Raiders are about bringing him into the fold. It's not every day that a prospect has the chance to sit down with an NFL team so soon after a major event like the pro day. The dinner included John Sbycch, the Raiders running backs coach, as well as Dan McCullough, who had been with Notre Dame the previous season, and Boise State's head coach, Spencer Danielson. This was no casual gathering. It's a sign that the Raiders are giving serious consideration to Gentry. One of the more interesting aspects of this dinner is the location, a high-end bar and restaurant in Boise called Matador. According to reports, the dinner took place just a few hours after the pro day, which shows how quickly things moved. The fact that Gentry had this meeting with key figures from the Raiders organization suggests that they're not only interested in his talent, but also in building a personal connection with him. These types of relationships often play a pivotal role in the draft process, and the Raiders' commitment to meeting with Gentry in such an intimate setting speaks volumes about their intentions. In conclusion, the Raiders' actions over the past few weeks and months strongly suggest that Ashton Gentry is high on their radar for the 6th overall pick in the 2025 NFL Draft. Between the scouting at his pro day, the dinner with key members of the team, and the overall fit within their offensive scheme, it's clear that the Raiders are giving serious consideration to selecting Gentry. The value of relationships, combined with his talent, makes him a strong candidate for the team's future. As the draft draws nearer, it will be interesting to see if the Raiders follow through with this potential selection. As we continue to examine the possibility of the Las Vegas Raiders selecting Ashton Gentry with the 6th overall pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, there are still more factors that strongly suggest this could be the team's decision. Beyond the pro day performance and the dinner with key members of the Raiders coaching staff, it's important to understand the broader context of how the Raiders approach the draft process and why Gentry is such an intriguing prospect for them. One of the key reasons why the Raiders might be leaning toward Gentry is their offensive philosophy. The Raiders have been making significant moves in their search for an identity on offense, and Gentry's skill set aligns with the direction they want to take. As the Raiders aim to build a more dynamic and balanced offense, they are looking for playmakers who can impact the game in multiple ways. Gentry fits this mold perfectly. His ability to be a force both on the ground and in the air makes him a dual-threat running back that could offer immediate contributions to the Raiders' offense. Gentry's versatility is something that the Raiders will likely value highly, as it provides them with flexibility in their offensive game plan. The ability to use him in a variety of ways, whether as a traditional running back or as a pass-catching threat out of the backfield, gives the Raiders more options on offense, especially as they continue to refine their strategy for the 2025 season. Looking at Gentry's college production, it's clear that he has the potential to be a star in the NFL. While Boise State leaned heavily on him as a rusher in 2024, he still displayed flashes of his ability to make plays in the passing game. In today's NFL, running backs who can catch the ball out of the backfield are a major asset, and Gentry showed he has the skills to do just that. The Raiders are a team that has struggled with consistency on offense in recent seasons, and bringing in a versatile, well-rounded running back like Gentry could be exactly what they need to add an extra dimension to their attack. In addition, Gentry's physical attributes, including his speed, strength, and agility, make him a top-tier prospect who could thrive in a system that prioritizes a balanced approach. The Raiders have also shown an increased focus on building strong relationships within the team, which further reinforces the idea that Gentry could be a top target. This offseason, the Raiders have made several moves that highlight the importance of connections and familiarity in their decision-making process. As the NFL draft approaches, these relationships become even more critical. In fact, the Raiders' strong ties to Chip Kelly's coaching tree and their clear interest in players who have a connection to Kelly make Gentry an even more attractive option. As mentioned earlier, Gentry's ties to Kelly, particularly through his time at Boise State and Kelly's connections to the Raiders, are key factors that have brought him into the Raiders' spotlight. The team has a history of targeting players with these kinds of relationships, which could give Gentry a significant edge over other prospects. Additionally, the Raiders' emphasis on character and fit within the locker room culture cannot be overlooked. The Raiders have been intentional about building a cohesive team, and they understand that a player's character and ability to fit into the team's environment are just as important as their on-field performance. Gentry's demeanor and attitude appear to align with the culture the Raiders are striving to build. His work ethic, leadership, and determination are qualities that would make him a strong fit within the Raiders organization. The team has been moving toward a more balanced and positive culture, and bringing in a player like Gentry, who has shown leadership on and off the field, would further solidify that shift. His mentality of representing his team and his willingness to put in the work to succeed are qualities that make him a highly desirable prospect for the Raiders. As we continue to analyze the potential of Gentry being selected by the Raiders, it's also worth considering the other teams in the mix for the 6th overall pick. While there is certainly competition from other franchises, the Raiders seem to have a clearer path to selecting Gentry compared to other teams. Teams like the New York Giants, who hold the 3rd overall pick, are unlikely to take a running back that high, making them less of a threat to snatch up Gentry. Meanwhile, other teams in the middle of the 1st round, such as the New Orleans Saints or the Chicago Bears, could be interested in adding a running back, but it's uncertain whether they will prioritize Gentry over other positions of need. Gentry's stock is rising, but the Raiders are in a prime position to land him if they decide to go that route. With the 6th overall pick, they have the opportunity to make a significant move and select a player who could make an immediate impact. Looking at the Raiders' recent decisions and overall direction, it's clear that selecting Gentry could be a move that makes sense for the team on many levels. The addition of a dynamic, versatile running back like Gentry could help stabilize their offense, provide more balance, and give them a much-needed playmaker to build around. With the team placing a strong emphasis on relationships, both on and off the field, the connection between Gentry and key figures within the organization only strengthens the likelihood of him being drafted by the Raiders. In addition, Gentry's ability to contribute as both a rusher and a receiver makes him an ideal fit for a team looking to add a dynamic threat to their backfield. The Raiders are in an interesting position as they prepare for the 2025 NFL Draft, and the possibility of Ashton Gentry joining their ranks has become more and more plausible as time goes on. The recent developments, including the scouting efforts at his pro day and the personal meetings with key Raiders staff members, show that the team is seriously considering Gentry as a potential cornerstone for their offense. If the Raiders do decide to pull the trigger on selecting Gentry, they would be adding a talented, versatile player who could immediately contribute to the team's success. As the draft approaches, all eyes will be on the Raiders to see if they decide to make the bold move and select Ashton Gentry with the 6th overall pick. With his combination of talent, versatility, and character, Gentry has the potential to be a key figure in the Raiders' future, and if all signs continue pointing in his direction, we could be looking at a major draft day surprise. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on our Las Vegas Raiders. And don't be shy. Drop your thoughts on the news in the comments below. The Las Vegas Raiders have made significant strides this offseason, signing players to fill nearly every major need. But even with these new additions, the team is far from complete. Despite the front office's best efforts, the roster still requires numerous improvements, both this year and the next, if they are to become contenders again. The Raiders' future hangs in the balance, and the pressure to build a championship-caliber team is mounting. Entering next season, Las Vegas will be a team of unknowns, with fresh faces in crucial positions. However, lurking beneath the surface are glaring concerns that threaten to derail any progress they've made. While the signing of veteran running back Raheem Mostert provides some hope, the running back position remains a major vulnerability. It's a ticking time bomb that could undo the Raiders' efforts if not addressed soon. Over the past 2 seasons, the Raiders have been plagued by one of the NFL's worst rushing attacks, regardless of the backfield personnel. The ground game has been a glaring weakness, and with no reliable solution in sight, the clock is ticking for this offense to find a way to move the ball effectively. Yet, there's a sliver of hope. Another dynamic running back and a revamped offensive line could be the game changer the Raiders desperately need. Gentry, a top-tier running back prospect, has emerged as a possible savior. His talent is undeniable, and experts like Nick Brinkerhoff believe the Raiders are the front-runners for his services. A draft day acquisition like Gentry could instantly elevate the Raiders' offense, provided they're willing to take the risk. The potential rewards are enormous, and adding him to the mix could be the spark that reignites their offense after years of mediocrity. With the team still grappling with glaring weaknesses, the Raiders' future is uncertain. Adding Gentry, one of the best young running backs in years, could be the final piece of the puzzle, creating a potent offense capable of dominating the league. It's a high-risk, high-reward move, but with the right moves, the Raiders could build an offense capable of turning their fortunes around. The question remains, will they make the leap, or will they falter once again? That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay updated with exclusive news about our Las Vegas Raiders, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. We can't wait to hear your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.